Two bikers have sex in a natural hot tub in the mountains. The Hilliker brothers, Three Finger, Sawtooth, and One Eye, murder them at a bike trail in West Virginia. The brothers are under the care of their demented relatives, Jackson and Sally, the caretakers of the local hotel resort, Hobbs Springs. Dany arrives at the resort, run by his cousins Sally and Jackson, to claim inheritance. He is accompanied by his girlfriend Tony, her brother Rod, and their friends Vic, Charlie, Brian, with his girlfriend Jillian. Unbeknownst to them, the resort is run and inhabited by cannibals. We then see elderly guest Agnes Fields get struck by an axe, pinning her to the wall where Jackson kills her. Brian and Jillian, who are shopping for groceries the next day, are informed by a concerned Sheriff Doucette of the disappearances of the townsfolk, including the hotel guests and Agnes. As he drives away, Doucette runs into a roadblock where he is killed by Three Finger. Alarmed by Brian and Jillian's news of the townsfolk's fate, the group becomes suspicious of Dany's cousins along with his need to stay with his family, causing his relationship with the others to deteriorate. Tony sends Vic out into the woods to find Dany, who has gone hunting with Jackson. Vic sees Sawtooth devouring a deer that was killed by Dany. When Dany plans on renovating the hotel to reopen next year, his friends reluctantly agree to stay. Jillian and Brian, however, plan to leave the town and steal items from the hotel for money. While doing so, they discover a hidden door to a basement that leads to an underground bathhouse where Jillian gets horny and seduces Brian into having sex with her. Right after Brian makes Jillian climax midway through, the cannibals abruptly attack the couple. Brian is hit in the head, giving him a crippling brain injury, and then Jillian is brutally dismembered without Brian to protect her. But Sally stops them from killing Brian. She then drags him to her bedroom and rapes him. Next, she asphyxiates him with her pillow under Jackson's orders. Now, turning against his friends during a heated argument with Tony, Dany is introduced by Jackson and Sally to his long-lost cannibalistic relatives at the clearing. They explain to Dany, who is a Hilliker, of their origins. Vic follows them and overhears their conversation. He is then captured by the Hillikers, who cut his throat and tear his innards out for the whole clan to eat for the ceremony. As the rest of the group begins to leave the next morning, Tony, Rod, and Charlie discover Jackson cooking meals in the kitchen with the dismembered corpses of the victims, including Brian and Jillian. Horrified, they attempt to escape, only to run into the cannibals who kill both Charlie and Rod. Tony arms herself with a rifle from the armory and enters the bathhouse to confront Sally about manipulating Dany against his friends. As they fight, Tony disfigures Sally and shoots off her leg with the rifle. Enraged, Jackson orders Dany to kill Tony, but he lets her escape. Jackson pursues her until Tony retaliates by stabbing him in the head with the door keys, killing him. Dany, angered with Tony for killing Jackson, allows the cannibals to kill her, with Three Finger hitting Tony in the head with a hatchet. 1 year after the reopening of the resort, renamed Hilliker Springs, Dany becomes the new manager and continues the sordid family tradition by having sex with Sally at the bathhouse as the other Hillikers watch. 1 year later, Hobbs Springs has been transformed into Hilliker Springs, a seemingly picturesque mountain retreat now under Dany's management. Dany, who has fully accepted his dark lineage, works closely with his demented cousin Sally, orchestrating the operations of the resort. The once abandoned hotel now thrives, attracting visitors seeking relaxation, unaware of the monstrous horrors lurking beneath its welcoming facade. From the outset, guests arriving at Hilliker Springs are treated to warm hospitality and the illusion of tranquility. Dany plays the role of the charming and attentive host, concealing the cold-blooded killer he has become. Sally, with her grotesque injuries from her earlier encounter with Tony, oversees the cannibal clan's dark rituals and remains a vital enforcer of their gruesome traditions. The remaining Hillikers, Three Finger, Sawtooth, and One Eye, serve as the hunters, stalking prey in the surrounding forests and bringing their victims back to the resort for slaughter. As the resort becomes operational, the townsfolk of the surrounding area begin to notice a disturbing pattern of disappearances. Hikers, bikers, and hotel guests vanish without a trace. While some dismiss it as accidents or wilderness mishaps, others grow suspicious of Hilliker Springs. The sheriff's office attempts to investigate, but their efforts are thwarted by Dany's cunning manipulation. A facade of respectability is carefully maintained, allowing the Hillikers to continue their reign of terror undisturbed. Within the hotel, guests begin to experience the sinister undercurrents of the resort. Strange noises echo through the hallways at night, and staff members behave oddly, further unsettling visitors. Some guests stumble upon hidden doors or corridors leading to dark, blood-stained chambers, only to meet brutal deaths at the hands of the cannibals. The bathhouse, a key feature of the resort, becomes a site of unspeakable horrors where victims are tortured and butchered. Dany's transformation into a full-fledged Hilliker is evident in his actions and demeanor. He no longer struggles with his conscience, viewing the resort as a means to uphold his family's legacy. His relationship with Sally grows disturbingly intimate, symbolizing his complete embrace of the clan's depravity. Together, they strategize ways to attract more guests to the resort, ensuring a steady supply of victims for the Hilliker's gruesome rituals. As the killings continue, Dany demonstrates a chilling level of calculation and ruthlessness. He personally oversees the disposal of bodies, ensuring that no trace of the victims remains. The Hilliker's underground network expands, with new chambers and traps designed to capture and contain their prey. Guests who attempt to escape are hunted down in the dense forest, where the Hilliker's knowledge of the terrain gives them an unbeatable advantage. Despite the horrors taking place, Dany struggles with moments of nostalgia for his former life. These fleeting thoughts, however, are quickly buried under his commitment to his family and the power he wields as the resort's manager. Sally and the other Hillikers reinforce his loyalty, reminding him of his duty to uphold the family's traditions. The film's climax is a harrowing sequence of terror and violence. A new group of unsuspecting guests arrives at the resort, including a family and a group of adventurous friends. As they settle in, the Hillikers begin their preparations, observing the guests and selecting their targets. One by one, the guests fall victim to the clan's traps, facing unspeakable horrors as they fight for their lives. The few survivors who manage to uncover the truth about Hilliker Springs attempt to escape, but their efforts are futile. The forest becomes a labyrinth of death, with the Hillikers stalking their prey relentlessly. In a final act of defiance, one survivor confronts Dany, pleading with him to abandon his family's evil ways. Dany, however, remains unmoved, choosing his loyalty to the Hillikers over any remnants of humanity. The film concludes with a chilling epilogue. Hilliker Springs continues to thrive, its dark secrets hidden beneath a veneer of normalcy. Dany, now fully entrenched in his role as the head of the Hilliker clan, oversees the resort with cold precision. Sally and the other cannibals prepare for their next victims, ensuring the cycle of terror will continue. The final shot lingers on a new group of guests arriving at the resort, greeted by Dany's warm smile. As the camera pans out to reveal the ominous mountains surrounding Hilliker Springs, the audience is left with an unsettling realization. The Hilliker legacy is far from over.